Hello everybody, Skyrim here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video. Alright, in this one, I want to follow up on a couple things I saw in some previous videos. There's been a lot of confusion as far as how to track certain elements in the game when it comes to the gem boost that we get from the Winds of Fortune and how that works. For instance, I wanted to show this at the very outset of the video, and then we will transition into talking about RNG in the game, how that has been a point of contention for a lot of players recently, especially with the Blessed Set Hunter event that is still ongoing as of this recording, as of right now as well. I will admit, I'll get into that in a minute, but first let's go ahead and talk about the other, and some Magic Find. Magic Find is also another thing we're going to talk about in this one. So there's the bullet point of the topic so far. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. I am still on my Winds of Fortune buff. Let me go and show complete transparency here. Where are we? Winds of Fortune. Okay, I have 57 minutes left. I still have got to get in my daily 12 unbound gems for the day and get those doubled. They have been doubling on every drop, which as far as the Winds of Fortune buff goes, how this works. The first 12 unbound gems, they will drop two at a time. They only count, or they count in your codex. Here, let me show you right now since I have it at the top of the list. I always do this every day. I go to daily activities and then I will select the unbound or the party gem find and put it as the featured, and I leave it there. That's what I do with this. So anyway, go back to all activities. But yeah, here it is. Now, it currently says that I have 12 of 12, so you're like, oh, you're done. No, I'm not. With the Winds of Fortune buff right now, even the Codex is getting it wrong. Okay, so what I mean by that is every time a gem would drop, they would drop in pairs. The daily unbound party tracker, which is the 12 that you get per day in a party, they count it every time those two drop. They count those as 2 in the tally. But I'll tell you what you have to look for so you know when to stop or when that point ends. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the party up here. Hopefully get, because I need to see the one in, oh, here we go. Perfect. I need to show you the one by your avatar. So we're going to look at the avatar up here. I'll try to get in here right away. Okay, here we go. See, it says 12 unbound gems today. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. There's a little message that you will see, and I'll try to hopefully get another pair of gems to drop here, and then I'll show that here. Or I can always go into Terra Rifts, obviously, and finish it off, but I only have like maybe a couple more to get. I know I'm close, and I want to make the most of the Blessed Set Hunter event here as well, so just going to run through this really quick, get this out of the way. Oh, there we go. I got 2 more gems just dropped, okay? Well, you don't see it over here because I got it blurred, but it said I got 2 more gems. I am still not capped yet. Okay, so that was another 2 gems that dropped, but it still says 12, right? So I'm still getting gems. They're still unbound because that's all I have to get is my 12 unbound for the day. But with the Winds of Fortune buff, it's going to double every drop, and that's where the confusion comes in because the 12 unbound for the day, whenever that Winds of Fortune buff is going on. Oh, I got another 2. Perfect. Is that we done yet? No, we're still not done yet. Okay. And what I mean by we're still not done, I got another 2 to just drop here. Or no, that one might have been from before. But either way, it will say the maximum amount in small text up here, and it has not yet. So that's what I'm still waiting for. Still haven't reached that point yet. I love these treasure goblins, by the way, too. It's a shame that they're only going to be around for the holiday event as well, but nonetheless. This is Inferno 9, of course, if you didn't know already. Pretty farming. I got no place in my bag. So much junk dropping along the way for the Winds of Fortune buff still ongoing. Extra tons and tons of scrap. So, yeah. I was kind of hoping to see if my gems would have capped out here, but we'll hold off until it does. I'll reconvene here in the video because I don't want to stay on this for too long, so let's go ahead and pause this. I'll meet back up with you. All right, there we go. This is the key thing to look for. I finally got another last bit of gems to drop. I'm going to screen cap this and blow it up bigger for you guys to see. But that is what you need to look for. Hang on a second. All right, there you go. I blew it up nice, big, and pretty for you to see. I had to capture it really quickly before the party disappeared because, of course, still, it's not a perfect system for us in tracking our gems properly, especially when it comes to the Winds of Fortune. There can be a lot of confusion, obviously, and I was hoping to clear the air on this one. Let me go ahead and exit. I'll leave that up. As you can see, that is the wording. That is the wording for those that did not already know. Obviously, a lot of us OGs do, but there is still a lot of confusion to be had here, and completely understandable, especially with the Winds of Fortune event when it comes around. This is what you get. This is the wording anyway, which is when you can finally get your 12 unbound gems completed for the day entirely with that buff. Now, like I showed at the start of the video, you can only see that I already had 12 of 12 in the codex, but that's because I had gotten at least 6 drops, at least 6 gem drops during that time frame. And then with the Winds of Fortune buff on, it counted each one of those as 2 a piece, or 2 all the way up. So that's why it said, oh, you already have 12. But as you saw throughout the earlier part of the video, it did not say this wording until I maxed out. Before it kept saying, oh, you gained 12 unbound gems. And then I kept going and kept getting more to drop because I did not reach the actual 12 for the day, which now in this case, this is the maximum daily party amount right here. And again, that is the wording that you have to look for when it comes to this. The confusion won't be there, as you know, when you're not on the Winds of Fortune buff. This is what you should look for anyway, regardless of the fact. So that is the key text to look for. It gets really tiny. And that's that for that. However, let me go ahead and go back to also, not this one. We'll go back into the codex again real quick. Now, this is what it would say normally, of course, and with that wording text. This is what it would be properly on both, on every possible way, okay? And of course, right here's another example of when you have gems that you missed from previous days. This is what you will also be looking for as well. In this case, the 12 unbounds were completely maxed out, and then you start to go, the party gems that you missed from previous days beforehand will be into the bound daily party gem category. And then this is the message that you will look for next to your avatar, as well. As you can see here, this one's not maxed out either in this instance. This is just another example. I wanted to, you know, make all these completely clear so that there is no confusion left whatsoever. Again, you would look for the maximum daily amount. You know, hang on, let me move these around a bit. Okay, and then of course, for those of you that know all this already, stick around. Or you can skip ahead, of course, to the other parts of the video. The power's at your fingertips as always. The other topics I'm about ready to get to here in a second. I just wanted to tie this up real clear so that there's no confusion left whatsoever. Again, the top one is saying if you have daily party gems that were that you missed, they will be bound, and that's how the text will look in the top corner. Now, after the Winds of Fortune buff is gone, there's a lot less confusion. The codex will track that properly for you. Okay, keep that in mind. The codex will track it. But again, every time the Winds of Fortune comes around, there's always a little points of contention and confusion here, and I just wanted to kind of completely clear the air on. I did answer some of these hopefully correctly in the comments. It's always difficult sometimes whenever you get in text format, depending on what people exactly mean, until you can get visual aid guides here, which is what I was trying to do with this. And but again, ultimately, no matter what, Winds of Fortune buff or not, your end goal is to see the text that says you have reached the maximum of gems for the day, not even unbound and bound, whatever the case may be. So that's your text. The main words you're looking for is maximum. Reach the maximum of gems for the day. So there you go. That is that for that. Okay. Hopefully I've cleared that. Absolutely certain for any kind of confusion there. I went on longer than I thought I would on that one, but nonetheless, here we are. Now bringing it back around to RNG. Random number generator is the system that a lot of these games use, especially ARPGs, of which this one is. As far as that goes, there's obviously a lot of, I guess, drama surrounding this event, and I've seen comments everywhere in some of the videos I did on this already, and also across the board on Reddit, where, you know, there's always torches and pitchforks all abound, and rabble, that kind of thing. It is what it is. And then there's also been some other videos, if you haven't seen them, going around. I haven't watched them myself personally, but I've seen the thumbnails and the titles about how it's not just us, that they have kind of reduced. The haunt coil gem, the drop rate on that one, supposedly the rumor mill currently still is that some people have had, you know, a lot of luck with it and gotten them like left, right, and center. Other people not so much or barely at all. I'm kind of one of them. I only did so many runs on it so far for it, however, and I'm still waiting until I accumulate more crests. The Haunted Surge event is still ongoing until the 12th, so I have some time yet, depending on what I want to do with it. I can turn my current one into a 3-star, but I might run a couple more runs, depending on how froggy I feel about doing this further, and maybe even get further up to get another one of these. But bottom line is, if to see if I get a 3-star to drop on its own at that point. That's pretty much the long and short of it. If that happens, fine. If it doesn't, I'll just turn the one I got into a 3-star and call it as good as we're going to get as a free-to-play. But as far as RNG and ARPG games, there's a lot of G's there. It is what it is. It is what it always has been. Random. It always will be. And that's the other problem when it comes to especially pay-to-win mobile games. RNG is it's a crutch for a lot of these developments and the gaming design. It's an easy thing that they just throw in, of course, and you just get loot pinata. Well, in these kind of games, we get those, you know, loot pinatas where we're getting loot dropping all over the place all the time. However, the quality of those drops is what we're really after, and well, let's face it, that's where the whole basis of the RNG factor comes into play, and especially in the pay-to-win. You're leaning hard into gambling and traps of that nature. So I always like to say, you know, on the side of caution, be careful with, you know, how you choose to spend when it comes to these kind of games, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go any further than that. That's up to you. That's your own prerogative. But that does play a factor, and that's why there is a lot of players right now that are very upset with how they feel that this blessed set hunt event is going on right now. But let's be real, those of us who've been playing this since the outset of the game's launch, 3 years plus in, this is the best iteration that we've gotten, considering all circumstances revolving RNG, revolving around it. And that, if you haven't, you know, made peace with yourself on that by now, if you've been playing the game since the beginning, or if you're a newer player, I can see the frustrations kind of setting in. But insert the meme, people at the gallows or whatever else, first time, yeah, that kind of deal. That's where we're at with this. This is nothing new to any of us. Unfortunately, it is what it is. This is still the best iteration I feel that we've gotten to date, okay, for the game. And if, you know, it's random, and granted, myself included here, I've only gotten a couple pieces out of all the runs that I've done so far up to this point. I still need to do a massive amount of runs to get all the pieces and the magic affixes, the perfect rolls on these. It might not even happen before this event ends, and it probably honestly won't, with all the pieces that I need for all the different builds and sets. It's just what it is. But again, it's still better than nothing. It's still better than nothing. It's still better than what we've had up to this point in the game's launch. So take that for what you will. I'm sorry if you still feel jaded about it. It is what it's going to be. That's how it is. These are the kind of games, loot pinatas, ARPGs, RNG is always going to be a factor in all of these, as Path of Exile, you know, games of this type, the dungeon crawlers and things of that nature are all going to be, you know, a slave basically to the RNG. So that's just how it is. That's how it always will be. Now that brings me around to the next and final topic here, which was the magic find, because that does also play a factor into these and the quality of drops and how frequently you will get those drops. So let's go ahead and take a look. There are a couple things to take in note here, and a couple things that I didn't really fully pay attention to, forgive me for this all this time, until most recently, is referring, let's go ahead and look at the gems first. Okay, so let's look at the roster I have. I have a 1-star gem. Okay, a maxed out 1-star gem will give you magic find chance, a chance to find magic items increased by 5% for a 1-star rank gem. Now, I think you get that around rank 4 or 5. You get the magic find automatically then, and that's just where it remains. It doesn't go any higher. Keep that in mind. 1-star gems will only give you a magic find boost of 5%. Okay? Hopefully you see where I'm going with this, which is why the whales will get a lot easier time of getting good gear to drop more frequently than the rest of us free-to-plays and low spenders. Here is a 2-star gem, okay, maxed out, paint class, right? Now we look at this one. Magic, increased chance to find magic items by 10%. So a rank 5 and up, I think, or maybe even a rank 4. I think it might be a rank 4 and up, or it might be a rank, I think it might, actually no, I think it's still rank 5 and up. Rank 5 and up, you get the magic find bonus on your legendary gems. In the 2-star case, it's only 10%. It's still 5% more than the 1-stars, mind you, but you see where this is going. Let me go to my Roiding Consequence, because this is the only 5-star gem that I have as a free-to-play that's rank 5. Okay? So now we look at the magic find chance right here. On a 5-star gem at rank 5 and up, it will be magic find of 15%. So if you want to maximize your magic find, obviously you're going to be wearing all 5-star gems at rank 5 and up to pull that off for the maximum magic find potential as far as what the gems are able to provide for you. Okay? Yes, that does kind of suck, and obviously it's not optimal for the amount of damage that you want to be doing, especially in PvE content. So there is that, right? But there's also another thing that you can do to help increase that even further. If you're really sought after, and if you really want to try it out, I don't really mess with it much myself. I take what I get, however it may drop. Like I said, RNG is still going to be a factor, no matter what here. But if you really want to try to increase it further, the Paragon Tree of Vanquisher, of course, is a way that you could go down the line. Right here, 50% increased equipment drop rate. Now, this is just equipment drop rate. It just means you're going to get more stuff to drop. And that just gives you more chances of getting that RNG factor to set in for quality of gear. It's not going to increase the quality. This is the quantity of drop chances. So keep that in mind. This one also gives you more experience if you want to try to push, which actually might not be a bad idea to switch to for pushing for the next Paragon levels. This might actually be a thought in that, right? And then, of course, if you want a little extra gold, you can always go with the gold find here as well. Increases the bonus granted by treasure find and luck. And then you can also go even further into that here, of course, and just pretty much almost pick the whole entire tree here. This one's about globes, which really doesn't matter all that much. But if you're really wanting to try to increase your gold, your gear, and your chances of possibly getting more better gear, increase your chances anyway, you go into this tree here. So there you go. Hopefully that covers all things. I didn't mean to go this long into it, with especially at the outset of the video with the discussion of the confusion with the Winds of Fortune buff. And the gem drop tracking and how that works and how it doesn't work as far as how they've set up in the parameters of the game up to this point. It is what it is. You know, like I said, once the Winds of Fortune buff goes away, this will be back to normal and things won't be that confusing. So, and hopefully this helps out any newer players, especially for that kind of, nonsense. Those OGs of us, of course, that have been around for a long time on this, we we're pretty much, we know the score. We've seen the iteration changes along the way, and they have made strides. They have made the quality of life improvements, obviously. Finally, not too long ago, sadly enough. It only took them 3 years, like I said, to do this. But nonetheless, they have finally gotten to reaching that point with a lot of things. Obviously, it's still not going to be perfect. But hey, that's how it goes. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions remaining here on this, the topics we discussed here. Like I said, the Winds of Fortune gem drop buff tracking confusion there. Hopefully I cleared the air on that one completely. I really hammered that one into the ground. The RNG topic, of course, people are still up in arms about that. And let's face it, we're always going to be. We're never going to be happy as far as that goes. It is what it is. You just have to pretty much accept certain things for what they are and move on. And then, of course, hopefully I helped out in trying to clear some things that you might not have remembered, or, you know, some of us have been in the game for a long time might not have remembered that about the legendary gems and the magic find percentage rates and everything else. And, of course, going into the Vanquisher Paragon tree, if you want to try and increase your chances. Again, still stuck with RNG. It's still going to be a factor in all of that regardless, but at least you'll help, you know, those chances out even further, possibly that way. Anyway, until next time, everybody, stay safe out there in the real world, and fire as always, take care of yourselves as best you can, one day at a time. It is all we can do. It is the best we can do for sure. Until next time, see ya.